Lord. Okay, are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3, 2. Hey guys, so welcome back to Journey with Jesus. My name is Brenna and we're here with
Bailey Blair.
Layla Bagley.
And Abby Stevens.
So today we're just gonna, thankfully we don't have Chad here, so we got as much room as we want, as much freedom of speaking, except for I got threatened if I make fart noises. So we're just gonna kind of try to, today we're just gonna kind of talk about, we're gonna talk about our ages, just a little bit about what we want to do in the future, our plans, our classes, what grades we're in, just stuff like that. And then once we get all that out of the way, we're gonna talk about our testimonies and how we became the person that we are now and how we got here, that type of stuff. So, I am 17 years old. I am a junior in high school. I am wanting to be a cosmetologist, but I'm still young, so I don't know if that's exactly what I want to do, but right now, that's where I'm on the track to. So I think that's my voice just cracked really bad.
It's okay.
Be careful though. If you're moving the mic when you're speaking, we
It'll
can
go
hear it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll keep my hands
I
off
could hear
of it.
that. Yeah.
But I think that's what I'm really going to try to do is cosmetology. But if it doesn't work out, I don't really know what I want to do. But we'll see about it. That's kind of just what I want to do, I think. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Oh, yeah, my sports. I forgot about that. Thank you, Bailey. I play soccer, and I've done that for 4 years. I did it since 8th grade. So it's about 4 years, yeah. And then I've done dance since I was 2. So I've done that for a very long time. I don't even want to calculate that because that's concerning. But so those are just kind of little things about me. I take a lot of honors classes, but I'm not smart. I'm just kind of just in them because I want college credit. And yeah,
That's me.
I want the honors grad. So I'm kind of struggling right now, but we're all good, guys. I swear.
Chemistry.
Yeah,
It's not going to.
Me and-
Let's
me,
not
Bailey.
talk about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to pass it on to Bailey now that I've gotten all of my crap out of my way. Bailey, you go ahead.
Okay, so I'm 16 years old, and I want to be an athletic trainer, go into the sports medicine field. I just found interest in that just by seeing our athletic trainer at our school or whatever and go into soccer games because she's my coach's daughter. Anywho, I don't know, I never know what might happen in the future, but things might not go as planned and I could be in that. And when I was younger, I really wanted to be a teacher, so I always have that in the back of my mind of okay, let's go education route. But right now I'm really stuck to doing medical in that area, in that field or whatever. But so I do sideline cheerleading, and I done competition cheerleading all 3 years of middle school, and then I did it freshman year and junior year, which is this year. I took a break sophomore year, and I have played soccer since I was 3 years old, and I'm still currently playing soccer because soccer is my absolute favorite, guys.
We heart soccer.
Yes. And
Did you say what grade you're in?
I think she did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I
I forgot to mention this. We all go to the same school, so we all know each other. So this wasn't just randomly put together. We've known each other for a long time.
You said that
I did not.
at the beginning.
What did
Didn't say that.
I did not say that.
Oh. Cut that out, Chad.
Yeah,
Cut it,
cut that out.
Chad.
Cut
Cut
it,
it,
cut it,
Chad.
cut it. Anywho, so
Anywho.
that's a little bit about me, and so I'm going to pass it on to Layla. So here you go.
Hi, I'm Layla. I'm 16 years old, and I'm really still in between what I want to do because I'm only a sophomore, and all of them are juniors. They're all older than me, sadly.
Little baby.
But I think I'm leaning towards either the medical field and doing radiology or doing something with psychology because I'm just really interested in that stuff. But I'm still not sure yet. I gotta little bit to think about it, but I'm like Brenna, I also take honors classes. For why, I don't really know because I'm not.
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
forgot to
Hey.
even mention my classes. I can go back to that later if I have to.
I'm not quite that smart, but gotta get them credits, you know. I play basketball and volleyball. I've played basketball since I was 7 years old, I think, but still get no PT.
Bro, ain't no way.
But I still love it, and I'm still going to continue to play. I don't think I'll go to college to do that because it's what I'm in high school for, to play sports and have fun. So I would rather not drag that out through college. Anyways, I think that's it about me. I'm going to pass it on to Abby.
Hey, I'm Abby. I'm a junior in high school, and I play basketball, and I'm started playing tennis. I've played basketball for 11 years, but I've played just about every sport you can think of. I take honors, AP, and dual enrollment classes. I really hope to either go to college, like a big university, for either journalism or education. I'm in like 8 different clubs, and I have leadership roles in 3 of them. I think that's all about me. Passing it on to Brenna, and I think she's going to lead us off with our testimonies.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to go. I think I want to start with me. Unless you want to start.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
I
So
feel like we can go in that same,
Yeah.
Okay,
same
yeah.
order.
you know.
we're just going to talk about our testimonies for a little bit, how we got to where we are now. Like, because I feel like there's a lot of things that have happened in all of our lives that have made us the person we are now. So, where do I start? Okay, so I love my family. I have a very loving family. But growing up, I had a lot of people who were not very nice to me and made me like kind of question my self-worth, because a lot of times they would like, if I would like tell them like something I wanted to do in the future, and I'm not going to like say names just because, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But they would be like, how could you do that when no one likes you? How could you do that when no one loves you? Like, you're worthless. Why would anyone want to do that?
Yeah, and that takes a lot on a younger mind.
Yes, especially when I was like between the ages of like, I was a child. Like, I was like between the ages of like 3 to, 11 probably, And of course, I'm going to have like wild dreams because I'm a kid,
Yeah.
I would want to be like an astronaut, and they'd be like, yeah, like you would make it there. It was just stuff like that. Like, it was really rough because there's a lot of things that happened when I was a kid that made me kind of question, like, am I really worthy of being loved? And I wasn't really in church a lot. I cannot breathe right now. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. So like a lot of things made me kind of question, like, am I really worthy of being like loved? So I always felt like I had trouble like believing that, even with my own like parents, which Abby's yawning right now.
I forgot I was in the microphone.
It's okay.
But I think a lot, like, I had such loving parents. I guess I kind of felt guilty about feeling that way. So I was like, there's so many people that are worse off, and yet I feel this way.
Yeah.
So it kind of started there, and then I wasn't really in church a lot, but I remember I got saved at the age of 7, and then I went over to my grandmother's house. We call her Molly, and I went over to her house, and it was like 12 o'clock, and I remember specifically she told me about Elisha, and I just remember like sobbing. I was like 7, and I just remember sobbing, just hearing her talk about it, and me being like, obviously it's hard for me to believe that people can like me or love me. So obviously I've always, even though I know I was saved, I've always had really bad doubt about that. So a lot of the times people would be like, hey, like, I'd ask my parents and be like, I don't really know. Like, I know, but I don't really know. Catch my drift? Like,
Yeah, no,
I hope that kind of
got
makes
you.
sense. And she would always tell my parents, they would ask her, they were like, I would ask her, I'd be like, do you think I'm saved? And she goes, honey, she said, I watched it. She said, there's no way you're not.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess that kind of helped me a lot. But throughout like that time, a lot of other stuff happened. Like, my little brother ended up getting really sick, and then I didn't get to stay with him for like a couple of months. And so I guess I just we fell out of church really easily. Like, we just did not go. And I was already a very anxious kid. And then my grandmother came down with cancer. and I like practically lived with her. So, you know, seeing the woman that like I loved her, she was probably one of the people I loved most in my life. And seeing her like come down with something that was so like, you know, so quick, watching someone be completely okay 1 second and then completely go downhill the next, it took a really hard toll on someone who was so young. Mm-hmm. So when she passed, I kind of fell into a spiral a little bit. I had some not very good thoughts in my head, and I ended up talking to my mom about it after a couple months. I don't like giving it to other people. And a lot of the times that is one of your biggest issues because it builds up and you don't get it fixed until you talk to someone. So, yeah. So I finally spoke to my parents about it, and I ended up getting a lot of help. You know, they figured out that I just have a really bad anxiety disorder and that I have some depression, and it's just spurred from, you know, a lot of the stuff that's happened in my life. But I truly think that when I started coming to Dry Valley was when my life flipped, because even though I was saved at such a young age, I had that spark. I think I've talked about this to y'all before. I had that spark, but I didn't have fire food. Yeah. So it's really hard to keep your fire burning if you don't have, sorry, Bailey. It's really hard to keep that fire burning if you don't feed it. So when I started coming to church, I instantly fell in love with it. I didn't really come to youth a lot at first, but then I like slowly, Bailey forced me into the youth, and
yes, of course.
I became friends with everyone immediately, and it has become like a second home to me. I mean, I got rededicated. I don't remember like a specific time I got rededicated, but I remember like you've got to be joking right now. I remember like specific times like feeling that change. Mm-hmm. And now I'm just so blessed and so thankful that I've been given like, you know, this amazing group of people that I get to spend like every Wednesday and Sunday and sometimes more with. Like, I just love, you know, after church, getting to talk about, you know, fellowship with each other and then going to Taco Bell and bussing down on some nice tacos. You know, it's just little things like that that make you realize, you know, there's so much in this life that's worth living for.
Especially Taco Bell.
Especially Taco Bell, bro.
Yes.
I mean, like, just getting to spend time with everyone that, you know, has been through similar things, but also, you know, we all have been through different things, but it's led to the same story, which is us.
Me and you can relate in many ways.
Yeah, in a lot of ways
that we've had.
Yes. Me and Layla, we've been through it, but a lot of people have different backgrounds, but they all ended up going into the same direction, which is the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's where everyone connects most, is that when you share that like love for something that, you know, not many people have that love for, I feel like that changes everything about your relationship with each other. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think that's like when I started getting into church was when I started finding better friends. And I started like surrounding myself by better people. And it was just like the immediate change I felt like after that. And I know I've been through a lot, but I wouldn't wish for anything to change because I wouldn't be where I am at now. And I don't know, I'm just so grateful. I really am. I really think that's all for mine. I mean, there's obviously I wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet just because, you know, I don't have 12 years to speak on here. But I am going to pass it to Bailey Blair. She's going to share a little bit of her testimony. She's going to do great. You can tell she's a little nervous, but she's going to do great. She's going to do amazing. But yeah, to anyone that's listening, I think that, you know, finding a good church is a major step that a lot of people don't realize. You can be saved, but once you find that church, it feeds that fire so much, and that's what you need. You need a forest fire, not just a spark. Stop that, bro. Okay, so I'm going to pass it on to Bailey. Bailey, your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, so to start off with mine, I've always grown up in church. Like, since I was born, like, I've always been to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. And I've always attended Dry Valley. Like, have literally went nowhere else. Always have came to Dry Valley, and I literally love it so much. So I think when I was around 7 or 8, me and Layla went to her grandmother's vacation Bible school every summer at North Somerville. And that's a local church here, so it's close. And so when I was 7 or 8, we had went or whatever, and I just remember we were like all back in the sanctuary like together and everything, I guess doing like the closing, and they just like invited everybody, like if you want to be saved or not, like to go to the altar or whatever. And probably at that age, like I probably wasn't like too sure what I was doing, and like didn't really know much, of like didn't really know.
It's kind of like I said, like it starts at spark because you don't really know a lot, but you know that Christ is Lord.
Yeah. So
and that's like the only important really part,
Yeah, so I just remember I got saved that night. I don't even remember what night it was, but it was at Vacation Bible School with my lovely cousin.
Yes.
Anywho, I just remember going. I just remember going out in the parking lot, and I was super excited because I was at that young age of like, oh my god, I got saved, woohoo, woohoo, and everything, and
wahoo,
hooray!
That was so funny.
And so I just remember my dad coming to pick me up. I told him, I was like, Dad, I got, I just got saved. Well, like, I'm so happy and all this other stuff. And I just like couldn't wait to tell my mama and my sister when I got home and everything. So at that age, like I probably was like unsure, not really unsure, but like didn't really know a lot or whatever. And, I would attend church and I would like, learn, about, Noah in the ark, or, John in the well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like the little, like the kitty Bible stories.
Yeah, what Brenda said. Well, so I hit middle school in 2020, and so it was the year that we all got quarantined because of COVID. Right. And it really just like I don't really know, messed with me, I guess, because
me and Bailey had the worst middle school experience I think of any kid I've ever met, bro.
It was pretty bad.
We were going through it.
Yeah. And so it was just like not a good year, especially going into middle school and you're like being quarantined, because as a 6th grader, that's where you're learning all the new things of like what's the different about older. School, and yes, you're getting older and all this stuff. And so we were quarantined for like the whole year. So 7th and 8th grade, I honestly like was bullied so much. Like it was awful. Like my middle school years were awful, and I really just like I just would break down. And at like that age, it's like, okay, let's take it to the Lord. Like, I've got him, and all this. But also like, okay, like what am I doing? Like I was still unsure, like I knew I was saved, but I was like, okay, but I'm not like really there. Like I know I'm not to the point of like, oh yes. Like I'm all good and everything. So come 2021, which was
our 7th grade.
My 7th grade year. We went on our winter youth retreat up to Pigeon Mountain in Lafayette, which we have been there so many times, and it's just a great place.
Perfect.
I got rededicated on the last night of the youth retreat, so I got rededicated, and I just remember it like really like touched me, I guess, because I felt like, it was my 7th grade year. Like I felt like I was like, okay, I'm doing better. Like I'm knowing more, I guess you'd say.
You're understanding.
Yeah, I'm understanding.
Bro, Bailey. We're like very deep, like, yes, understanding. And Bailey's like, bro, and when you talk, sorry, I'm gonna get off for a second. Okay. When Bailey's like, I wish y'all could see, because when Bailey's like talking about like all this, she has the biggest smile. She's like, yeah, guys. She's like, yeah, I got bullied. She has like the biggest grin on her face, because like you just love sharing it, and I love that.
I don't really know. Yeah, I guess. And so I was super excited, and I got like rebaptized with my sister actually and a friend. And and it just like really made me happy and all this other stuff. And so, 8th grade year got a lot better. I still had the group of friends, like I was like hopping, from friend to friend, like friend group to friend group, because I was just not sure, like where to be with a friend group, or like, what type of friends to surround myself with. So then high school hit, and freshman year, I didn't really like freshman year. My sister was in high school with me. It was her senior year, and I absolutely loved that. Like, it made me so happy.
So, fun fact, me and Bailey, so our sisters are friends, and they're the same age, and me and Bailey are friends, and we're the same age. So, it's like literally, what are you laughing about, buddy?
Layla.
You wish you had that. Me and Bailey have been very blessed to have that, like, kind of like friendship relationship.
A close friendship.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to get back on track.
We're running it back. Really back in.
So freshman year it was not amazing, but also it was like, I'm going into high school, I'm getting older, okay, I should be, I'm still learning, and so also freshman year, I hung out with my sister a lot because I was still unsure of like who I should hang with and like what friend group was best for me, I'm guessing. So then comes sophomore year, and I feel like I made a lot more like friendships or whatever with a lot more people that I am like really close to this year and everything. Sophomore year, it was actually a lot better. I feel like, like I said, I made a lot more friends, I feel like, and it like really touched me of like, oh my gosh, like I have all these friends and everything. Okay. And I was still like unsure of, I don't know what the word is.
Your faith?
Yes, I think so. Yes. I was still unsure of like where my faith was, and, like going to the Lord and, being really close or whatever. So yeah, I'm not making a lot of sense at all. I don't
No,
think.
you are. I get it.
I think you did better than I did because you went through like each stage of your life. Like I completely left out the part I got baptized.
It's okay. It's okay.
I got baptized like, when was that? 2022?
I don't.
It was a little while. I mean, it wasn't like super long ago, but it was like not super long ago. But like you went through each and every point, and I was
On
just
my
like,
grade, yeah.
okay, guys, so like,
So last but not least, so here I am as a junior, and I really, I am a very bad overthinker, and so like here, like coming into junior year, it made me like nervous of like who I was gonna hang out with, because leaving out of sophomore year, I was really unsure of my friends, and so junior year just like really scared me, I guess, but ever since September, I'm guessing, I have hung out with the same people for the longest time, and it's really been like hard on me, I guess, because it's like, because I always am questioning myself of, like, am I doing good, or like, is this people who can hold me accountable, for my faith, and I say I'm a child of God. Am I like representing that at school, and am I representing that with my friends? Like ever since this past winter youth retreat, we actually went back to Pigeon Mountain right after Christmas, and our topic was friends, and it really like I really felt like God was like speaking to me, because just I've hopped from friend group to friend group, and I feel like this like youth retreat was like really meant for me, so I could, get back into school, after Christmas break, and really know who I was looking for and who my people were. But
Find your people, Louis Giglio.
I feel like recently, ever since like soccer I started and everything, I've really realized where I'm at with the Lord, and where I stand. And I feel like I'm doing a lot better at like really, not really representing, but like putting myself out there more, that I am a child of God, and I'm not scared to like let people know that, because of course you want everybody to know that you're a child of God.
I did not mean to do that. Sorry. Keep
Oh, no,
going.
it's okay. But I've got one more year to go in high school, senior year, and I hope it's the greatest. But
I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're
But like I think only two of us have shared a testimony so far, and one of the things that we have both said, and I'm sure is going to be said in the other two, is how much this youth group has made such an impact on us.
yes,
Because
yes,
those winter,
yes.
like I wish like an adult now could experience what we experienced at a youth retreat, because it is so refreshing. Like you said, we had the Friends one last year, or not last year, but like during the winter.
Yes, youth retreat, yeah.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. And I feel like every time we have a youth retreat, it makes me check in. It's like a mental check in. Like, hey, like one of the biggest things that I caught onto was the accountability thing that I don't know which one of y'all mentioned it. Someone did. Yeah, it might have been you.
Me,
the accountability. Yeah, I feel like ever since like they mentioned that one time, it was like, if you're a true friend, you're going to want to hold your friends accountable because like, obviously, you want what's best for your friends.
Yes.
And that clocked me, bro. I was like, yeah, like I really do. And I need to hold myself accountable also for so many things. And so I feel like, that's one thing that, like the moral of the story, y'all gotta, one of the biggest things that's going to help someone is finding that group of people.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Bailey, are you done?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I
If
think
you have anything to add, you can just say it,
So I think I'm gonna move on to Layla and let her, tell her testimony.
Bro, this little diva. Let's hear it,
Yeah,
girl.
I just really don't know where to start because let's just say, how do I make this sound not so bad?
Brief.
Yeah. I went through a good bit as a kid. I'm not really going to go into detail because,
For y'all's sanity.
yeah. But I think that, like, really just affects me to this day. But thankfully, I had my Mimi growing up all the time, and she would take me to North Somerville with her, which that's where Bailey was saved. So that's kind of where I grew up when I was younger, because no matter what, she would always try to bring me to church and bring my dad to church. So I'm beyond grateful for her. Oh, I need to breathe.
Say it like I can't
Yeah,
be that.
get,
Does
like-
that do it to you?
What?
When you're like speaking, you like when you're actually like trying to be serious on the podcast,
Yes,
it feels like you
yes.
can't breathe because I guess you're trying not to breathe like as loud into the
Yeah.
microphone. So you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, keep going though. Sorry.
So when I was about 3 years old, that's when my father found my mother, my stepmother, but that's actually my mother. So she is Bailey's mom's brother's daughter.
Yes.
So we're cousins on that side of the family.
Yes.
But my dad met her, and I was just kind of took in like all the woods' his own. I mean, first day me and Bailey met, she hugged me.
Yup.
So that's kind of when I started coming to Dry Valley. So I was younger, so I basically just grew up here. But I still went to North Somerville with my Mimi on occasion, and I was saved at about 7, I think, at our VBS. Not at VBS, but during the week of VBS. I just remember being in those classrooms all week, and every time that they would be like, raise your hand, like when we would be praying and everybody's eyes were closed, they were like, just raise your hand if you want to come talk to one of us. Like, I was always that kid that was scared to raise my hand because, like, what if somebody's eyes were open, and what if they saw me? Like, that always just freaked me out.
Yeah, that's like one of the things like with going down to the altar a lot of the times is like the freaking out about like that's what happens to me. Like
Yes.
I can like I really only go down to the altar when it gets like unbearable to the point that I literally cannot like my
Yes.
feet are walking themselves
Yeah.
Exactly.
because it's scary. Like I don't want to do it.
I mean, that's literally how I always had been. Like, every time we would have one of those, like, lessons where they would be like, close your eyes and, like, just raise your hand if you want to talk to somebody. Like, I couldn't because what if...
But also like mind you, it should not be a scary thing. Like I don't know why
no.
we
Yes.
make it
It's like-
terrifying.
We let judgment take over.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
And you
bad.
shouldn't let
You
that
shouldn't.
happen.
Yes,
Exactly.
at
Like,
all.
Especially in church. You know,
Exactly.
somewhere that should be judged
That's your
free.
safe place.
Exactly.
Like that should be your safe place.
But anyways, I never would raise my hand. So I got home one night after VBS. It was on a Wednesday night, actually. I don't remember the date. I'm not one of those people that remember the exact date.
Yeah,
I don't,
me neither.
I don't either.
like-
And I've like, it kind of, that's one of the things that always scared me was like, because I
Yes.
always have that doubt, which I know I'm saved, but I have that doubt. And so like when people are like, you should know like this, and this, I
Yeah.
know where I was at. And
Yep.
like,
I remember the day
time.
I was saved.
But I don't remember. Wow. Okay. Okay, buddy. But I don't like remember the specific day, like what clothes I was
No,
wearing.
I don't either.
I don't remember what. I mean, I remember the area of the couch I was saved on, but not like the color, the type of like
No.
people like I remember everything that happened step by step. I'm like, no, I just remember like coming out of my brother's. Sorry, I didn't mean to like interrupt
Oh
you.
no, it's okay.
But that's like
I like conversation.
you have. I feel like that's one thing a lot of people need to stress is that you're not, especially if you're saved younger,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard for you to remember the I was saved at approximately 1:30 a.m. 53 seconds. like it,
No, you're not gonna remember that stuff. You're gonna
Exactly.
remember
The
how
moment.
you felt.
yes, in the
like-
moment, exactly.
Yes. I mean, you don't have to remember those things because I don't. I remember.
I remember how I felt in like
yeah.
the moment. I don't remember the time, the date, the
No.
clothes I was wearing.
And I mean, I think it's so cool that people can remember that.
yeah, like that's chill, but
Yeah.
also it's normal to not remember that.
exactly. But I just remember like coming home that night, you know, getting ready for bed, and I'm just sitting there trying to sleep. Already when I was younger, I struggled with nightmares bad. Like,
Twin.
it was so bad. Like, I don't even want to think about it. But like I always struggled with sleeping, and so I was just in there, like, and I was just bawling my eyes out because I couldn't sleep, and something was bothering me, like something was heavy on my chest, and I didn't know exactly what that feeling was, you know? And so this was when we had a very big house, and so I'm just screaming at my dad from across the house, and I'm like, Dad! And so he comes in there, and he's like, what's wrong, you know? Like, and I'm just telling him, I'm like, I don't know, like, it just feels like heavy. And
Oh my, like that's crazy because that's like almost exactly because I had the same thing. I struggled with nightmares, so I slept with my brother.
yeah.
And so his room is right next to my parents. And I remember like I just couldn't go to sleep because I kept like I felt that. Like it feels
Yes.
like you have rocks on your chest.
Yes.
And you immediately go to like I went to my parents also and I was like, hey, something's off. And then one of the questions that just popped in my head while I was feeling off was, tell me a little bit more about Jesus.
Yep.
And then that's when it happened. So like that's crazy. We have like that happened like almost
Yes.
exactly to me.
But it was just like freaking me out, and I just remember like thinking about the lesson that night, and like hell was mentioned, and that's scary for a younger kid. Like
Scary for everyone. Yeah,
it is, but like I was terrified. Like it scared me to my core, and so my dad was just like, "Is it about getting saved?" Because he just kept asking me questions, you know, like
Try to figure it out.
yeah, and I was like, yeah. Like, and then automatically just kind of calmed down, like, when he asked that question. And so this was pretty late at night. So we just sat there and he prayed that prayer. And I ran into the room with my mom and I woke her up and I had to call my Mimi that night. Like, it's late at night.
That's literally, it was like 12 o'clock at my house. And I
Yes.
got saved. And my dad was like, we're getting in the car.
Yeah,
and so
we
we headed to my
just-
grandmother's house.
We had to call everybody on my dad's phone. Like, I just had to let everybody know.
I was like, I've seen my sister do it. I got to do it too.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I was always in children's church and grew up with everybody here and gained those friendships, those literal lifelong friendships. Like me and Bailey, I mean, we were friends before all that, but then, I mean, of course, a lot of those people have left and gone now, but like, I feel like that's really what started my whole thing, was especially like 4th and 5th grade year of children's church, because we would always just have that like one-on-one time together, and then it was I just miss all that so much. Anyways, so then COVID hit. That
Womp womp.
I fear that was my downfall. It just really bothered me. I don't really know why. I think I just was so used to hanging out with people all the time and like never being alone, you know? And then like you couldn't go out. I couldn't go see my friends, like, and I was just stuck in the house all the time. And that like really, really bothered me so much. But then I got into middle school. 6th grade was honestly a blur because I was we were all just quarantined like every few weeks because the person that sat beside you got COVID, and you've got to go home now for 2 weeks. Like, it was awful. Especially on little middle schoolers.
That's what I was saying. I feel like a lot of people look past the fact that is like as someone who's like still developing and still trying to gain like social skills, getting completely like going from getting to speak to people every day to completely like exiled from everyone takes a toll. Like it really takes a toll on like your mental health. Like I feel like that was my downfall, honestly.
Oh, it definitely was mine. Because like I was just stripped of that closeness with everybody, I guess. I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
I remember the time that like when it was all like okay to actually go out and see people. Me and Layla, I mean, it was crazy when we saw each other. We like were so, like,
ran in
like
slow motion,
reunited.
Like it's like we never met anybody.
Sorry. Oh,
keep going.
Right.
Low-key note hit though.
I know,
guys. You know.
Go on, Layla.
Again, 6th grade was just like a blur, and then 7th grade year hit, and that's when I guess I fell into some things that I shouldn't have. But I think what caused that was seeing the things that I did at such a young age. So it kind of made me think that stuff was okay in a way. And I just fell into like this deep hole, I guess, that I was just climbing so hard to get out of, and when I was trying to climb and get out of that hole, I was just falling deeper and deeper into it. Sorry if that sounds like really deep, but
it's okay.
No, it's I mean, it's very real.
But that was the first youth retreat I think I actually got to go to was 7th grade year, because 6th grade year we were still kind of quarantined-ish, so we had the youth retreat here. But 7th grade year I got to go to Pigeon Mountain, and that just kind of like flipped a switch when I went. Like I've never felt that feeling that I did, like worshiping with people my age and just going down to the altar and just
that fellowship.
Yes, and just laying everything down at that youth retreat. Like, and I thought that, you know, after that, things are going to be so much better. Like, I just like laid it all down, you know. But then like a few months after the youth retreat, we kind of told everybody like, we're just like gonna hang out all the time, you know, and we're gonna keep this fire, and we didn't. And that kind of bothered me a bit because I didn't have that same like closelessness, is that the word? Anyways, but I kind of fell back into some of that stuff and was just really in a dark spot during middle school, which is really sad to be at such a young age and feel the way that I did, I guess. If that's the words
that was like that was one of my
Shane.
biggest like regrets too, was that like I was like, dang, I'm so young, and I have like I love my mom and my dad, like they're amazing people. Like, why do I feel? I felt guilty almost for feeling the way I did because I was so young. I'm like, there's people who's been through worse.
Exactly, but I never told anybody through middle school.
Same twin.
I was so scared that like people are gonna think, oh, it's just for attention,
That was literally my thing, bro.
because that's what everybody always said, like,
especially in middle school.
yes, and that's what I was so worried about. I was so worried to reach out to anybody because I was scared of that. What's the word?
Judgment.
Yes, or like I was scared of being brought down because of how I felt.
Yeah.
And
Especially like I think when you're so young and you're having such intense feelings, a lot of people can't comprehend that you feel that way. So they want to downsize it. And a lot of parents and I mean, I love my parents, but like a lot of times parents will be like, well, they're young, some like, maybe they don't actually like, they're not wanting, they're hoping for best case scenario.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's just not how it is. Like, it's a real thing. A lot of kids go through a lot of stuff, and a lot of times this fear of being judged is what causes a lot of the issues, like child suicide and stuff like that, because a lot of kids are so scared to talk to anyone about how they're feeling.
I feel like that's always been my problem, though. Like, I'm scared. I was always scared to reach out, but I think I've gotten a lot better about that. Even like with these people right here, like I would go to Brenna and be like, Brenna, please. Just,
and Layla will literally text me. Layla's like, Brenna, I need help right now.
But see, like I love that. Like I just love having those people to lean on. Anyways, back to my middle school years. 8th grade year, I got back close with some of my friends, and I dropped some of those things that I had picked up through middle school in 8th grade year because I had gotten so close with my friends, and I never had that. I didn't have much alone time then. Like I was just always out, like with my friends. Like we were always just doing stuff, and I feel like that's always what I needed, was just to not have much alone time, like by myself, because that's when I was always felt worse.
It gives yourself time to think.
Yes.
And when you don't want to think, that's not something you need.
Yeah. And then 9th grade year, I don't have a lot to say about 9th grade year.
It was a rough time for Layla.
It was. I didn't have the best of friend group, and I did. I think I just kind of hopped friend groups 9th grade year. I talked to so many people that year because I was like, oh, like I'm in high school now, like I have all the older people that I can talk to, and it into 9th grade year. So that was this past summer. I went through something that kind of just flipped a switch in my brain. Like, you've got to stop. You have to lock in.
And like, I know it was a very because obviously we're not going to go into detail about the whole situation, but I feel like that happening to you, Layla went through something very traumatic. Let's say that Layla did something and it ended up with a very traumatic background, and or like, you know what I mean?
Outcome.
Yeah, outcome. Yes. And I feel like honestly, as much as it sounds awful, I think that might have been God being like, okay, Layla, like this is.
Yes, I truly think that that's what it was.
I think he was making you check in.
Yeah, I think it was like a slap on the back, and you gotta fix yourself.
And it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. God.
But the best part is that it did work. I mean, obviously we hate the fact that it happened, but it worked. And, obviously.
I feel like since then I have just been more myself, I
feel like you've been like, you think about things more.
I do.
Yes. Like before you do something, you want to check with yourself, and then you check with other people also and make sure that it's the right thing to do.
It is literally all relates back to that, I think. Again, that was like 9 months ago or so. So I think I have gotten a lot better since then about certain things, and just surrounding myself with better people. And I think I came even more involved in youth this year, or like this year, and like my 10th grade year, let's just say that. Like I hang out with everybody, like even like on Wednesday and Sunday nights, like probably last
Tackle
year. Probably last year I genuinely wouldn't have done
No,
that.
I feel like, okay, so I've always loved the youth group, but I feel like we have grown so close to each other.
We have,
And I hate saying like, oh, it's Taco Bell's,
yes.
but it honestly, like, I feel like getting more time together that's not just strictly,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree.
scheduled, you know what I mean? Like the hangouts. We hang out. So for those of you who don't know, we hang out at Taco Bell after every Sunday evening service and every Wednesday evening service.
So we're all broke high school students.
I have a job and I have no money right now.
I don't have a job.
So like, I feel like it has made us all super close.
It has.
To those who want to like participate, obviously, because
Mhm.
we always invite everyone, but a lot of people just, they don't want to go, they don't have rides, or
Yeah.
there's other reasons, which is okay. But I also feel like it has just helped us all grow so much closer,
It has.
and I'm very thankful for that, honestly, because
I'm beyond thankful
Yes.
because I feel like I can rely on everybody so much better now.
I have that trust built now.
Yes.
So I feel like I have talked, like, I think this time a year ago,
Mhm.
I would probably only talk to 2 or 3 people in the youth. Maybe 3 or 4. Actually, take that back. Now I talk to almost everyone.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually friends
Mhm.
with almost every single person in the youth group. And used to, it was just kind of like, you kind of catch my drift.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that makes sense.
So I'm just gonna wrap it up by saying, those things that I went through have made me who I am today, and like they keep me in check constantly. And all these people in this room, our whole youth group, I'm beyond thankful for all of them, and always having those shoulders to lean on at all times. Like I could text anybody in that youth group and be like, "Hey, say a prayer for me."
Yeah.
Instantly, somebody's praying. Sorry, I didn't mean to snap.
No, it's okay.
Oh, I thought you jumped because I snapped.
Bruh.
I think that's it for me. I'm gonna pass it on to Miss Abby over here.
Abigail Ruth Stevens. Let's hear it, babe. She has been, I don't think I've heard Abby say more than 2 sentences this entire time, because she has been so focused on this sweatshirt that she is making.
Okay, so to start off my testimonial, my testimony I feel like is a little bit different than like the majority of people my age, just because like I got saved a lot later than I feel like most people have. Which
But it's also a very good thing, because it makes people like see that you don't have to just get saved at the age of 7.
No, it's
By the
like
way.
that talk that we had.
Yes. Like there is not a specific age to get saved. You can be saved at any age. One, to point that out, because I feel like,
You can be
obviously,
95 years old on your deathbed and get saved.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
which obviously getting saved at like an older age like means nothing because everything's perfect in God's timing.
yes.
exactly.
But I did want to specify that, because me, Bailey, and Layla, we've all been like 7, 8, 9, But I wanted to specify that before we just let Abby continue. It's not always, you're not always going to be a child in elementary school when you get saved.
Yeah.
Like it's all in God's timing. Continue, Abby.
Well, anyway, I got saved on May 3rd, 2024. I was wearing a white and pink Rolling Stone shirt
Bruh.
with a pink pair of blue jeans and white Converse.
She's one of the people that me and Layla were talking about earlier.
Yes.
I got saved on the left side of the pulpit in the little bend. I don't know if that's... I was just messing with Layla and Brenna, but that is the truth. That is what I was wearing. And when
But
I got saved.
some people are like that, but
Yeah.
Well, I think it's...
And that's perfectly okay.
Well, I think it's special that I remember that. And I think that because I was only a year ago, which I hope that's something that I can hold on for the rest of my life, because I think that's like such a beautiful thing to remember. But, okay, so to start off my testimony, I grew up when I was younger in a Church of the Nazarene, and I went every Sunday with my grandparents. And a lot of people don't know what a Church of the Nazarene is, and I honestly, probably am not qualified to tell you what they believe, but I will say they're somewhat similar to the Baptist, but they're a little bit more strict with it. So I grew up this whole time in the church, probably from the time I was born in this church till about quarantine. And not once did I hear the words like get saved, go to heaven, get saved, go to heaven. It's just like you're here at church every Sunday, you know? And so by the time I was like probably 11 or 12, the topic of baptism came up. And everybody was like, Abby, you need to get baptized. Like, you're too old not to have been baptized. Like, if you die right now, you're going to go to hell. So I felt like I had to get baptized because that's just what all the adults around me were telling me. I was like, yeah, okay. Like, these people have seen me from me being born to now when I'm older. And so I was like, I completely trust them in my life and my salvation. So I remember I got baptized. Like, there's pictures of it. Like, it was such a good, like, experience, but I didn't really have that connection. But fast forward to a couple weeks later, this is like literally probably about 2 months before COVID hit. And I remember, like, I walked into church and I had always been like this girly person. Like, I'd always had like a new dress for church every Sunday. But this Sunday I was like, I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to wear blue jeans to church. Well, apparently that was a big no-no because this old lady in my congregation was like, oh my gosh, like, those are some real skinny jeans you have on, which they weren't. I don't even know if they were skinny jeans, honestly. But I just felt so, like, targeted by that I stopped going to church out of, like, resentment towards this woman. Because that's when I feel like when you're around 11, 12, 13 is when you start questioning what you've been told your entire life. And I think a lot of people who have been in and out of church could testify to that you hit a certain point where what you've been taught your entire life kind of turns into like well, is this really how it is? What's really being said? Like, you question your authority. And so that's what I started doing. Like, I was like very confused. There was a point in time where I won't say I didn't believe in God, but I was like, if there's a God this amazing, like, why would he let such terrible things happen in the world? And then COVID hit, and we did not go back to church for years. Fast forward to probably about, 2022, my family starts trying to get back into church, and we're trying all these churches in our new area because we had moved also. So we're trying to find all these churches in the area. I remember we tried Dry Valley. That my grandparents came for a while, but I just quit going because, again, like, just like the question of, is God real? Like, what am I doing? Like I was literally having like an existential crisis at the
So what's that
age of
word
14.
for when we talk about it all the time? It starts with a C. Not condemn. Conviction, yes.
Yeah, I was just going through it, and I just couldn't go to church. Like, it was, I don't really know. Now I understand, but then I was like, what is the point of this? So that was probably 7th and 8th grade for me. Just like my entirety of middle school, just questioning. And so flash forward to high school, and I become really, really super close with this girl. And we were best friends. Like, we finished each other's sentences and everything. But I had found out that she had been lying to me about a bunch of stuff, like smoking and drinking. And she, like, when you are that close to somebody and they start lying to you, it's like, oh, like, you're my best friend. Like, you need to, you're supposed to tell me these things.
A troll on you. And it really hits you, and it's like,
A troll.
wow. Wow.
Yeah. Especially when, like, it's supposed to, and I know, like, it's okay to keep secrets from people. Like, that's fine, especially because, there's some things. But when it's something that's, like, you're keeping it from that person because you don't want them to know.
Yeah, because I
different thing.
had asked her multiple times. I was like, hey, I've heard this and this. Is this true? Like, I just want you to be honest with me because I'm not going to judge you for it. That's just not my way of life. And so, like, months go by, and I had realized she had been lying to me. And so I broke off that friendship because I was getting associated with these things that she was doing. And so I broke off this friendship, and it was so devastating to me because, again, I was, like, so close with this girl. But I just felt like being lied to was not a good friendship to be in. And for months, I didn't have any friends, like, literally didn't have anybody to talk to. I was like a floater. I sat with a different group of people every day during lunch. And like, I'm a very social person, and having nobody to talk to all day, every day really took a toll on me, because I got to talk. Didn't have nobody to talk to. Life was over.
I agree. I have to talk to somebody. Like, if I went all day without talking to anybody, I don't know where I'd be.
I go stir crazy. Anyway, fast forward a few months of I was literally at one of my lowest points in my life. And then I just start to feel like, so after a few months of just this like sadness of not having anybody to talk to, no real friends, like it felt like I knew everybody, but I wasn't close to anybody, if that makes sense. I remember in my ELA class, Brenna and 2 other people were in it, and we used to just sit and talk and talk and talk. And
we got no work done.
No work done. We went in the hallway one day during class to do our work. And if you could see
she put
me,
quotations around that.
If you could see. So this girl who I'm not really super close with her, but all 3 of them were just talking about church, and this girl who I wasn't super close with was just like, Abby, are you saved? And I like got mad. I was like, why are you asking me that? She asked me if I was saved. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what are you talking about? And then Brenna was like trying to talk to me about it. And I like got mad at her because she would not shut up about it. It was like, Abby, are you saved? Abby, come to church with me. And months and months.
I was about to say, I've been trying to get her to go to church with me anyways, but
months and months and months. She was begging me, Abby, come to church. Abby, am I going to see you Sunday? Abby. And I was just like, yes, you'll see me Sunday. And then she would text me and I'd be sound asleep in my bed. And so I remember the Sunday before Easter last year, I finally was like, oh my gosh, Brenna, please just shut up about this. I'm not coming to church. I do not believe in church. Like, completely out of my beliefs. And and I was like, oh, fine, I'll just come to church with you just to shut you up one time. Well, the next Sunday was Easter, and I was like, well, that's the one time a year I have to go to church, Easter Sunday. So then I was like, wait, that service was kind of good. So I just started coming, and then eventually I came to youth group, and I just came, like, it's just in my routine now. And about this time, my grandmother started getting sick. Like, she had dementia, but she got a UTI and ended up in the hospital. And if you knew my grandma, none of y'all know my grandma. Anyway, she was a devout Christian. This woman got up at the crack of dawn every single morning, and she read a book in her Bible, or she read part of her Bible every morning, did her devotion every morning, watched a pastor all day. Like, that's all she'd watch, just her pastors on TV. Like, the exact type of woman you want to be. And I just remember, like, she was getting sick, and it was, like, devastating because I had, like, grown up with her, like, because my mom was a single mom, and she was getting, like, her nursing license when I was little. And so while she was in school and working, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. And so she was just in the hospital, like, she didn't remember who I was, and it was just awful. But also at the same time, I'm still going to church. I'm learning. I'm not feeling conviction, which I didn't know at the time, but I do now. And I remember I called Brenna one day after a service, and I was like, hey, Brenna, I think I want to get saved, but I don't know. Like, I was so afraid to actually do it because I didn't know what people would think of me. And that's a big thing that a lot of people talk about. But I was just, like, afraid that it would be taken the wrong way because nobody in my family, like, talks about this stuff, like, being saved. So I was like, I don't really know, like, what that is. And Brenna, like, taught me through it. And she was like, I can, like, call you right now. And it's literally, like, a 5-minute process. Like, if you feel like you need to be saved, you need to get saved because tomorrow's not promised. And I was like, no, I'll wait for tomorrow. I'll wait for Sunday. And I was, like, always afraid to go down to the altar to get saved. Fast forward a few months. They did a Pizza and Praise.
Yes, fire.
And I got saved at the Pizza and Praise. And it was, like, actually so good. You know, so good.
It was so fun.
It was actually so fire.
Yep.
And I'm really hoping we get to do another one this year, but that's off track. So, yeah. And then that was a Friday night. The Pizza and Praise was Friday night. Got saved on a Friday night. My grandmother passed away the Tuesday after, I think. or the Wednesday night after that, and I wish I would have got to tell her that I got saved, but I didn't. But I just know like she looks down and is like so proud of me. But then I got baptized on August 25th, 2024. I was wearing orange pants and a white t-shirt with like a little sun on it.
I know I have a picture of you the day you got baptized.
Oh yes, we all do. Yay. But yeah, I've genuinely grown so close with my youth group, and like I appreciate it so much because some of the people in our youth group, like I would not go out of my way to talk to, like for no particular reason. We just like don't have a lot in common, but since we go to youth together, we have the fact that we all are here to praise God and worship together, and that's such a powerful way to bring people together. And yeah, I'm so grateful for my Dry Valley family, because I've never been a part of a church like this, and that everybody's just so accepting in it. Like I could honestly like tear up talking about it, but it's just so much fun. Like I actually love everybody so much. And yeah, that's my testimony. Brenna's gonna close us up.
Yes, I did want to add on a little bit to your like thing, just a little bit. I'm not gonna talk for too long because we are running out of time. But I just wanted to say how thankful I am, and I mean I know all of y'all are, but like it has been so like I know, like I said, the one common thing that we all have is this youth group that we all love and cherish, because that has been like, it really is such a blessing getting to like go in there and like, you know, sometimes we'll have services like that one service we had recently where we did the cutout cross, and then afterwards they played Gratitude by Brendan Lake, and we all
that's our song,
everyone
dude.
went down to the altar, and it was just like amazing. Like I love moments like that because I get to see people I love, you know. It's a very emotional thing for me.
It is.
Because, you know, getting to see some people that I love so much, like, you know,
I think my thing is that, like, seeing other people go to the altar during youth is like, oh, like, other people have stuff going on too. Like, I'm not alone in this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like a reality check.
It is.
Like, I'm not the only one that's going through something. And it's such a, like, I feel like everyone gets so vulnerable. And that's when I think I love seeing that. And I know that's awful, like saying I love seeing that side of people. But getting to see, like, that emotion from everyone, it's such a blessing to see how we are all so, like, united in, you know, we have that common ground, you know? But does anyone else have anything else to say? I don't know.
You saying that reminded me, like, I feel like the most beautiful thing you can watch is just two people go down to the altar together, because I think that is the closest you can get to God on earth. And I just think like watching two people go to the altar together like makes me tear up, not even knowing what they're down there praying about. But I just love it. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Like just seeing two people who are like, or like even taking someone down there. Like Layla takes me down to the altar with her all the time, or Layla takes Bailey. Yes. I think we're two of the people that Layla's like just grabbing hold of. But I feel like it's such a blessing for someone to come and grab me. That's one of the things.
That's what I was about to say.
Because
I pulled my mic.
Oh no, you're good.
I'll bring it back. But yeah, I actually love that too, because it's like for example, like Layla, because you know she grabs me a lot. It's like just knowing that you have somebody that trusts you and that relies on you. Like, oh yes, like I can take her down there and she will not, like, she loves that. She will not judge me for it, anything. And it's like, it's just a blessing to know that you have those people that trust you and that rely on you.
I mean, I genuinely think I've taken every single person in this room down to the altar, like, at least once. I've taken Layla a bunch of times, Bailey a bunch of times. I've taken Abby a bunch of times. And it's just, I feel like taking someone down there with you. And because obviously, you know, we talked about this earlier, how
more
like
comfortable.
Yes, because when you go down there by yourself, it feels, you know, you feel that judgment.
Like eyes are all on you.
And even though you're not actually getting judged, but you have that feeling of like, dang, you know.
That's the first thing that comes to your mind. Oh my gosh, I'm getting judged.
But if you're walking down there with someone, and it doesn't even have to be like about anything, it can literally just be like, you know, I feel like I need to pray for you, or I need you to come and pray for me. Like,
I just need to talk to God.
Yes, you know, you can go down to the altar for literally anything. Just, I always recommend bringing someone down there with you, because it kind of helps you, like, I don't know, it helps me.
Comfort.
Yes, it's a comfort thing. And I feel like kind of like you said, it makes me like, it helps me feel like, okay, there's actually people, because like I said, I've talked about this earlier, you know, I struggle with feeling like I'm worthy, like people love me. So when someone like will take me down to the altar, I'm like, oh, so, you know, I am loved because this person trusts and loves me enough to want to have me as their comfort, because that's the way it is for me. If I take someone down, I want that comfort and that prayer from them. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Anyone else got anything?
I want to end this off by saying we love you and Jesus loves you.
Okay. Anyone else? So that is it for today. We're going to come back again. I don't know what day. It'll be a day, but
we will be back.
We
Don't
will be
worry.
back. Don't worry. We can't get rid of us that
Bum.
quick. But yes, we love you guys so much, and we hope you enjoy this podcast today. It was kind of a vulnerable, you know, topic that we went over, but we all love you guys, and hope you have a wonderful day. Mwah.